Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Eve Cade. I'm on with Chat, and today I want to talk about why I stopped collecting for the Game Boy. Now, obviously, you can see here my Game Boy collection, Game Boy Advance collection. I don't own an actual Game Boy, Game Boy Colors. I have a Game Boy Advance. I have 5 games for the Game Boy and 3 for the Game Boy Advance. Not a major lineup, not a major, you know, collection. But let me talk about why I don't really collect for the Game Boy anymore. First of all, let's cover the obvious thing: the price. The price of the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games have been skyrocketing recently. You know, I know there's hundreds, and I always say there are hundreds of games on Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, and I want to collect quite a few of them, but the price for some of them is just too expensive for me to really warrant spending on a single game. For instance, the most expensive game in this collection is actually Pokemon Gold. I paid £20 for that game just for Pokemon Gold. That's the first Pokemon game I've ever owned, and it made me realize I don't really like Pokemon games. So yeah, and the other games obviously were quite cheap, obviously because they're just generic stuff really, and it's just the Game Boy games obviously skyrocket in price, and obviously a lot of the games are quite expensive now, so it kind of makes it harder to actually collect for. Another reason I don't really want to collect for Game Boy anymore is I've got no interest in a lot of the stuff. A lot of stuff that these companies like there's a company in the UK who sell and trade all the sort of stuff called CEX, right? They up the prices exponentially, and interest in a lot of the games actually quite low. A lot of the games that I see in their stores are like £30, and they're just stuff I've never heard of. You know. Now I will say I do intend to buy games like Advance Wars. For the Game Boy Advance, there are a few other games I want to get for the Game Boy Advance, but obviously I'm slowing down my collecting on the system because obviously I don't really use it. It's not really a major platform to me. You know, my major platforms are my Evercade VS, my Xbox Series S. When it comes to portable gaming, I've got my Evercade handheld and my Nintendo Switch Lite, so I've got no reason to really use Game Boy. And the third reason is because I can really emulate these games. I can emulate all of these games quite easily on my Steam Deck, right? Haven't done that yet, but obviously once I get Advance Wars and a few other games, I might just emulate some of the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games that I want to get. Because some of the prices these companies want you to pay are ludicrous because of how they flipped them. You know, they bought these games for like what £20 a few years ago, and no one was playing them, or less than that, obviously. And now they flip them like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 plus quid for like something like Pokemon. Like Pokemon's like the best-selling game of any Nintendo platform. And they want like 20, 30, 40 quid for the old cartridges, which already had tens of millions of copies in the world. Anyway, guys, you can all see this is kind of a scam. So yeah, that's just why, guys. Obviously, it's the same with a lot of retro systems. To be honest, the prices, the lack of interest for a lot of the games, and obviously, this is a big one. It's not really fun to play the Game Boy for me anymore. Obviously, there are some new homebrew titles I do intend to buy. Obviously, for the Game Boy, which are obviously quite cheaper, and obviously they look more fun, and I reckon I'll enjoy them more. It's just these games. This is all I've got really because I don't really bother with the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance anymore. And also, I'm hoping that Nintendo actually wakes up and puts some of the games on Switch Online. Just saying, Nintendo, if anyone from Nintendo's watching, please put games on Switch Online. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you collect for the Game Boy? Do you not collect for the Game Boy? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Try to put out new videos whenever I can. Like the video, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.